A young man's quest for a brighter future, an opportunity that defies the ordinary. But snakes are always hiding around, ready to bite. Prepare for a story of courage and conviction. In the vibrant city of Chicago, a young man named Marcus lived in the shadows of towering skyscrapers and neglected neighborhoods. His life was marked by challenges, an unending struggle against the odds. Yet despite the obstacles, Marcus possessed an unyielding spirit and a mind as sharp as a knife. His only companion in this harsh reality was hope, which he clung to like a lifeline. One day while navigating through the bustling streets of Chicago, Marcus spotted a vibrant poster flapping on a lamppost, its colors catching his eye amidst the gray urban landscape. It was an advertisement for a popular television quiz show called The Millionaire's Dream, renowned for its promise of transforming ordinary lives with a life-changing sum of $1 million to anyone who could answer all the questions correctly. The poster was adorned with images of past winners, their faces beaming with joy and disbelief, fueling Marcus's imagination and igniting a spark of hope within him. Marcus's heart raced as he stood there, transfixed by the possibilities that the show represented. In that moment, he envisioned a future unburdened by financial worries, where he could lift himself and his family out of poverty and make a meaningful impact in his community. The idea of such a transformation was intoxicating, a beacon of hope in his challenging life. Driven by a potent mix of desperation and determination, Marcus resolved to take a leap of faith and audition for the show, despite the odds stacked against him. The audition process was grueling, a test not only of knowledge but of character and resilience. Marcus approached it with the same tenacity he had used to navigate his life's adversities, drawing upon the wealth of knowledge and experience he had accumulated over the years. His life experiences provided him with insights that went far beyond textbook knowledge, allowing him to sail through the preliminary rounds with ease. His stories of resilience and survival captivated the judges, earning him a coveted spot on the show. For Marcus, this announcement was more than just an opportunity to win money. It was a chance to prove to himself and the world that he could rise above his circumstances. As he prepared to face the challenges ahead, Marcus felt a burgeoning sense of purpose, a conviction that this was his moment to rewrite his story and chart a new course for his life. As Marcus sat in the brightly lit studio, the host, a charismatic yet arrogant man named Greg Thompson, welcomed him with a smirk. The audience erupted in applause, and Marcus felt the weight of their expectations. This was his chance, his moment to rewrite his story. The first few questions were straightforward, each one triggering memories of Marcus's past. A question about Chicago's deep dish pizza reminded him of family gatherings, where they would share meals despite their struggles. Another question about a famous jazz musician brought back memories of listening to records with his grandfather, who filled their small apartment with the sounds of hope and dreams. With each correct answer, Marcus's confidence grew, and so did the prize money. The audience watched in awe as he navigated through the questions with ease, his life experiences transforming into stepping stones toward a brighter future. The atmosphere in the studio crackled with energy, both from the audience's anticipation and Marcus's growing momentum. As the questions continued, Marcus found himself drawing not only from his knowledge but from the emotional tapestry of his life experiences. Each answer was a thread that wove together his past struggles and his aspirations for the future. A question about the history of Chicago's architecture took him back to weekends spent exploring the city with friends, marveling at the blend of old and new that defined the skyline. It reminded him of the endless possibilities that lay ahead, just like the towering buildings that reach for the sky. Then came a question about a literary classic, which brought to mind evenings spent at the local library, where Marcus had found solace among the pages of stories that transported him to worlds far beyond his own. It was in those moments that he had discovered the power of imagination and the belief that his own story could be one of triumph. As Marcus continued to answer the increasingly challenging questions, he felt a sense of calm wash over him. The stakes were high, but so was his resolve. He was not merely playing a game. He was living a moment he had dreamed of for so long. Each correct answer was a testament to his perseverance and the support of those who had believed in him. The path to the final question was paved with memories and lessons learned, and with each step, Marcus felt more prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. He was not just chasing a dream, he was forging a new reality, one where hope and determination could conquer any obstacle. As the show returned from a commercial break, Marcus sat in the hot seat, a mixture of anticipation and apprehension swirling within him. The next question would be the penultimate one, crucial to his journey. As the studio lights dimmed momentarily, Greg Thompson, the charismatic yet condescending host, leaned over with a conspiratorial whisper.
Listen, Marcus,
Greg began, his voice dripping with feigned camaraderie.
you've done remarkably well so far. How about I give you a little hint for the next question? It's a tough one, but I think you deserve a bit of help.
Marcus looked at Greg, his instincts telling him that there was something disingenuous about the offer. The host's eyes gleamed with an unsettling mixture of mischief and malice. Marcus hesitated, the weight of the decision heavy on his shoulders. He knew this was a pivotal moment, not just in the game, but in his life. As the question flashed brightly on the screen, the room filled with a mix of anticipation and excitement. The presenter, with a dramatic flair, leaned in closer to the microphone and asked,
What was the most visited city in the world in 2019?
The audience leaned forward, eager to hear the options. Marcus inhaled deeply, feeling the familiar mix of adrenaline and focus surging within him. He knew this was a pivotal moment. Just as he began to mentally sift through the possibilities, he caught Greg's eye in the crowd. Greg, with a slight smirk, whispered loudly enough for nearby contestants to hear.
It's got to be Paris, right? Everyone loves the Eiffel Tower.
A wave of uncertainty washed over Marcus for a fleeting second. Paris was undoubtedly a popular destination, but was it really the most visited? He felt the seed of doubt begin to sprout in his mind. However, he quickly pushed it aside, reminding himself of the countless hours he had devoted to studying travel statistics, tourist trends, and global cities. His mind raced through the data he had memorized. Hong Kong had consistently ranked at the top of the charts in 2019, with its vibrant culture and bustling streets drawing millions of visitors from around the globe. The iconic skyline and rich history had made it a must-see destination. With a resolute decision, Marcus raised his hand confidently, ready to answer. The presenter noticed and, with a nod of encouragement, called on him. Marcus took a deep breath and stated clearly,
The answer is Hong Kong.
A murmur rippled through the audience, and Greg's face fell as he realized that Marcus had chosen wisely. The presenter looked momentarily surprised, but quickly confirmed the answer.
That's correct. Hong Kong was indeed the most visited city in 2019.
As the crowd erupted in applause, Marcus felt a surge of relief and triumph, knowing he had trusted his instincts and knowledge in that crucial moment, even amidst the whispers of doubt. As the studio lights dimmed and the show went into a commercial break, Greg turned to Marcus with a more subdued demeanor.
Marcus,
Greg began, his voice softer than before.
why don't you join me for a quick chat in my office? I'd like to discuss something with you in private.
Marcus, ever perceptive and aware of the potential for both confrontation and understanding, nodded in agreement. He knew that this conversation could be pivotal, not only for himself, but for the broader message of his journey. In the quiet confines of Greg's office, away from the prying eyes of the audience and cameras, the two men faced each other. Greg gestured for Marcus to take a seat, and for a moment, silence filled the space, each man sizing up the other.
Marcus,
Greg started, breaking the silence.
I must admit, you've surprised me tonight. Your composure, your determination, it's not something we see every day.
Marcus met Greg's gaze steadily, sensing an opportunity to bridge the gap between them.
I've learned that when you face challenges head-on, it can bring out the best in you.
Marcus replied thoughtfully.
My journey has taught me that resilience is a powerful ally.
Greg leaned back in his chair, considering Marcus's words.
You know, I didn't expect you to get this far in the show. But watching you, I see that maybe I've underestimated what drives people like you.
But the problem is, I do not like you. Let me be clear. I am the star of this show. You are trying to take that from me? You do not belong here.
Marcus took a deep breath, steadying himself before responding.
I belong anywhere I choose to be, Greg.
He said calmly, his voice unwavering.
And I've earned my place here, fair and square. You might not see it, but there are countless others like me, ready to prove themselves given the chance.
Greg scoffed, his eyes narrowing.
You really think you belong here? Look around. This isn't a charity. People like you don't just waltz in and take what they want. You think you can just take advantage of the system because of your skin color?
The room fell silent for a moment, the tension palpable as Marcus held his ground. He could feel the weight of judgment in the air, but he refused to back down.
Luck may play a part,
He continued, his voice steady.
but it's preparation and perseverance that truly open doors. I'm not here to take advantage. I'm here to prove that I belong. Just because I look different doesn't mean I can't be better than you. I probably already am.
The other person's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of uncertainty breaking through the facade. Marcus seized the moment.
Everyone has a story. Mine is one of overcoming barriers, not creating them. If you give me a chance, I promise I won't let you down.
With that, he stood a little taller, ready to face whatever came next. The tension in the room was palpable, but Marcus refused to be intimidated. He knew that Greg's words were born out of insecurity and frustration, not truth. This was his moment to shine, and he wouldn't let anyone diminish his accomplishments.
You might not like it,
Marcus continued, his gaze steady on Greg.
but I'm here to stay, and I'm going to use this opportunity to help others, to show them that they can rise above their circumstances too.
Greg's sneer faltered for a moment.
Help others. What do you know about hard work? You think you can just come in here and pretend you're on the same level as everyone else? People like you always need a handout. You'll never fit in. You'll always be an outsider.
As Marcus made his way back to the stage, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. Greg's attempt to rattle him had only strengthened his resolve. He knew he was ready to face whatever came next with courage and integrity, determined to prove that no amount of ignorance could hold him back. The studio buzzed with anticipation as Marcus took his place under the bright lights once again. The audience, sensing the tension and drama that had unfolded, erupted into supportive applause. It was as if they too were rooting for Marcus, championing his journey and resilience. Greg, attempting to regain his composure, flashed a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes.
Well, Marcus, you've certainly kept everyone on the edge of their seats. Are you ready for the final question?
He asked, his voice tinged with a hint of challenge. Marcus nodded, feeling the weight of countless dreams resting on his shoulders. He was not just playing for himself. He was playing for everyone who had ever felt marginalized, underestimated, or overlooked. This was more than a game. It was a testament to the power of perseverance and self-belief. The final question appeared on the screen, and Marcus felt a strange sense of calm wash over him. It was a simple yet profound quote.
Who said the quote, "Only do what your heart tells you"?
Suddenly the words resonated deeply within him, conjuring memories of his mother. He could almost hear her voice, encouraging him to follow his passions, to trust his instincts. She had always told him that true fulfillment came from listening to one's heart, a lesson she had instilled in him from a young age. Drawing upon the lessons of his past and the support of those who had believed in him, Marcus took a moment to gather his thoughts before confidently answering, driven by his heart, just like the quote said.
Princess Diana.
His voice rang clear and steady, cutting through the tension like a beacon of hope. The studio fell silent as the answer was revealed. Time seemed to stretch, the air thick with anticipation and possibility. Then, as the correct answer flashed across the screen, the room erupted in cheers and applause, a wave of celebration that crashed over Marcus, lifting him high on a tide of triumph. He had done it. Against all odds, he had claimed his victory, not just for himself, but for everyone who dared to dream beyond their circumstances. As the confetti rained down and the lights dazzled, Marcus stood tall, knowing that he had rewritten his story and opened the door for others to follow. In that moment, he felt his mother's spirit beside him, proud and unwavering, reminding him that following one's heart was indeed the greatest adventure of all. With the $1 million prize securely in his grasp, Marcus did not simply retreat into a life of comfort and luxury. Instead, he turned his newfound fortune into a force for good, determined to uplift those who had walked similar paths of struggle and perseverance. Marcus set his sights on a rundown building in his neighborhood, a forgotten relic that had once served as a community hub. With a portion of his winnings, he transformed it into a vibrant community center, aptly named the Beacon. The center became a sanctuary for marginalized youth and families, offering resources and opportunities that Marcus had longed for in his own past. The Beacon provided tutoring and educational workshops, helping students who, like Marcus, had faced barriers in their pursuit of knowledge. It also offered vocational training programs, empowering adults to develop new skills and seek out better employment opportunities. Marcus ensured that the center was a place where anyone, regardless of their background, could find support and encouragement. Understanding the transformative power of education, Marcus established a scholarship fund to assist promising students from underprivileged communities. These scholarships were not simply about academic excellence. They recognized determination, resilience, and community engagement. Marcus believed that by investing in the potential of these young minds, he could help cultivate future leaders who would continue the cycle of giving back. Marcus also started a mentorship program, pairing successful professionals with young people seeking guidance and inspiration. He personally mentored several students, sharing his journey and the lessons he had learned. Through these interactions, Marcus found immense fulfillment, witnessing firsthand the positive impact his efforts had on their lives. Beyond financial support, Marcus became an outspoken advocate for marginalized communities. He used his platform to raise awareness about the systemic issues that perpetuate inequality and worked tirelessly to influence policy changes that would create more equitable opportunities for all. His journey from adversity to triumph served as a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of offering a helping hand to those in need. As Marcus looked out at the bustling community center, filled with laughter, learning, and hope, he felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The Beacon was more than just a building. It was a symbol of what could be achieved when one dared to dream and took action to make those dreams a reality. In giving back to his community, Marcus found his true calling. He had transformed a solitary victory into a legacy of empowerment, ensuring that others would have the opportunity to rise above their circumstances just as he had. And in doing so, Marcus fulfilled the promise he had made to himself and to everyone who had ever believed in the power of following one's heart. Despite the success and positive impact the Beacon had on the community, it wasn't long before Marcus faced a new set of challenges. Greg Thompson, the disgruntled show host who had attempted to undermine Marcus during The Millionaire's Dream, was not one to let go of a grudge so easily. Driven by jealousy and wounded pride, Greg set out to sabotage Marcus's efforts, determined to see the Beacon fail. One of the first issues the Beacon faced was a series of unfounded allegations about financial misconduct. Greg, using his influence and connections, spread rumors that Marcus was misappropriating funds meant for the community center. These allegations, though baseless, began to cast a shadow over the Beacon's reputation, causing some donors to hesitate in offering their support. Marcus, ever resilient, tackled the problem head-on. He hired an independent auditing firm to review the Beacon's finances, ensuring complete transparency in all transactions. The audit results exonerated Marcus, reinforcing the community's trust in his leadership and commitment to his mission. Greg also attempted to exploit bureaucratic red tape, filing complaints with local authorities about the Beacon's zoning and regulatory compliance. He claimed that the center violated several municipal codes, hoping to bog Marcus down in legal battles and force unnecessary expenses. Marcus, however, was prepared. He had anticipated potential obstacles and had worked closely with legal experts when establishing the Beacon. With their help, he diligently addressed each complaint, ensuring that the center adhered to all regulations. This proactive approach not only thwarted Greg's attempts, but also demonstrated Marcus's dedication to maintaining a lawful and community-focused initiative. In a bid to further discredit Marcus and the Beacon, Greg orchestrated a negative media campaign, using his connections to plant unfavorable stories in local news outlets. These stories painted Marcus as an opportunist who was exploiting his newfound fame for personal gain. Aware of the power of perception, Marcus countered these narratives by inviting journalists to visit the beacon and witness its positive impact firsthand. Through open houses and community testimonials, he showcased the real stories of transformation and hope that the beacon fostered. The media eventually shifted their focus, with many outlets choosing to highlight the center's successes rather than the unfounded accusations. Greg's efforts to undermine the beacon also included sowing discord within the community itself. He attempted to pit different groups against each other, spreading rumors and fostering mistrust among those who relied on the center's services. To combat this, Marcus organized community forums and open discussions, encouraging dialogue and unity. He emphasized the importance of collaboration and mutual support, reminding everyone that the beacon belonged to all of them. These efforts helped to strengthen community bonds and reinforce a sense of shared purpose. Marcus knew that the power of the beacon lay in the collective strength of the community it served. He realized that the best way to counter Greg's divisive tactics was to foster a sense of belonging and solidarity among everyone who benefited from the center's programs. To this end, Marcus launched a series of community-driven initiatives that were designed to bring people together and celebrate their shared goals. He organized cultural festivals that highlighted the diverse backgrounds within the community, creating an atmosphere of celebration and mutual appreciation. These events not only showcased the rich tapestry of cultures, but also provided an opportunity for people to share their stories and experiences, fostering empathy and understanding. Recognizing the power of leadership in driving change, Marcus introduced leadership training workshops at the Beacon. These workshops aimed to equip community members with the skills and confidence they needed to become advocates for their neighborhoods. Marcus believed that by empowering others to take charge, he could create a ripple effect of positive change that extended far beyond the walls of the Beacon. Many participants emerged from the program with newfound purpose, organizing neighborhood cleanups, advocating for local issues, and even running for positions on community boards. The sense of empowerment was palpable, with Marcus serving as a mentor and cheerleader, encouraging these new leaders to trust in their abilities and effect meaningful change. As the Beacon continued to thrive, the community's support grew stronger, and Greg's attempts to discredit Marcus began to lose traction. The evidence of the Beacon's positive impact was undeniable, and the stories of transformation and resilience resonated with people far and wide. Local media outlets, once skeptical, began to shift their focus. They covered the success stories of individuals who had benefited from the Beacon's programs, shining a light on the real change that was happening within the community. Public opinion swayed in Marcus's favor, and the Beacon became a symbol of hope and possibility for other neighborhoods facing similar challenges. With the support of the community firmly behind him, Marcus decided it was time to expand the Beacon's reach. He envisioned a network of centers across the city, each one serving as a catalyst for change and empowerment. This ambitious plan required collaboration, and Marcus reached out to local leaders, businesses, and philanthropists who shared his vision. The momentum was undeniable. Inspired by Marcus's story and the success of the Beacon, donors and volunteers rallied to support the expansion efforts. New centers began to take shape, each one tailored to the unique needs of its community and guided by the principles that had made the Beacon a success. As Marcus looked back on his journey, he felt a profound sense of fulfillment. What had started as a personal quest for a better life had blossomed into a movement that touched countless lives. The Beacon had become a beacon of hope, lighting the way for others to follow. Marcus understood that his work was far from over, but he was no longer alone. He had cultivated a community of changemakers, each dedicated to creating a brighter future for all. Together, they would continue to challenge the status quo, dismantle barriers, and uplift those who dared to dream beyond their circumstances. Despite Greg Thompson's relentless attempts to undermine Marcus and the Beacon, his actions ultimately sowed the seeds of his own downfall. The very tactics he used to discredit Marcus and the community center began to unravel, exposing his true motives and leading to unintended consequences that would forever change his life. As Greg continued his campaign against the Beacon, he became increasingly entangled in his own web of deception. His smear efforts attracted the attention of investigative journalists, those who were curious about the sudden negative turn of events surrounding a community center known for its positive impact. These journalists, driven by the pursuit of truth, began to dig deeper into Greg's background and motivations. The investigation revealed a series of questionable dealings and ethical lapses in Greg's professional life, including conflicts of interest and instances where he had abused his influence for personal gain. As these stories surfaced, the public's perception of Greg shifted dramatically. The spotlight that he had so eagerly sought to cast on Marcus now illuminated his own dubious behavior. The revelations about Greg's misconduct quickly spread across media platforms, garnering widespread attention. Public opinion, which had once been skeptical of Marcus and the Beacon, now rallied behind them with renewed vigor. People saw Marcus's dedication and integrity as a stark contrast to Greg's underhanded tactics. Community members and supporters of the Beacon took to social media, sharing their personal stories of how the center had changed their lives for the better. Their testimonials painted a vivid picture of hope and resilience, further discrediting Greg's attempts to tarnish Marcus's reputation. As the tide of public opinion turned, Greg found himself increasingly isolated. Sponsors and business associates began to distance themselves from him, unwilling to be associated with someone whose actions had been publicly condemned. His career in the entertainment industry, once thriving, began to falter as opportunities dried up. Facing mounting pressure and a tarnished reputation, Greg attempted to issue a public apology, hoping to salvage what remained of his career. However, the damage was done, and his words rang hollow to a public that had already made up its mind. The community that he had sought to divide stood united against him, their resolve only strengthened by the challenges they had overcome together. In the aftermath of his downfall, Greg was forced to confront the consequences of his actions. Stripped of his public persona and influence, he began to reflect on the choices that had led him to this point. It was a humbling experience, one that prompted him to reevaluate his values and priorities. In a surprising turn of events, Greg reached out to Marcus, seeking a private meeting. Marcus, ever gracious and hopeful for redemption, agreed to meet him at the Beacon. In the quiet of the community center, away from cameras and public scrutiny, Greg offered a sincere apology, acknowledging the harm he had caused and expressing a desire to make amends. Moved by Greg's contrition and aware of the power of second chances, Marcus extended an olive branch. He invited Greg to volunteer at the Beacon, offering him an opportunity to contribute positively to the community he had once sought to undermine. Marcus believed that by working together, they could demonstrate the transformative power of forgiveness and collaboration. Greg accepted the offer, eager to rebuild his life and make a genuine impact. Through his volunteer work, he gained a first-hand understanding of the challenges faced by marginalized communities and the importance of empathy and support. Over time, he became an advocate for the Beacon, using his skills and connections to help further its mission. Greg's journey from antagonist to ally served as a powerful reminder of the potential for growth and change within every individual. His story of redemption became an integral part of the Beacon's narrative, illustrating the profound impact of compassion and understanding. Together, Marcus and Greg worked to expand the Beacon's reach, ensuring that its legacy of empowerment and unity continued to flourish. Their partnership stood as a testament to the belief that even the most unlikely individuals could come together to create a brighter future for all. As Marcus and Greg worked hand in hand to further the Beacon's mission, they both knew that the road ahead would not be without its challenges. The expansion of the Beacon network brought with it a fresh set of obstacles that tested their resolve and creativity. They were determined to push through, driven by the shared vision of a community united in hope and progress. One of the foremost challenges Marcus and Greg encountered was the digital divide that persisted in many of the communities they aimed to serve. With technology playing an increasingly vital role in education and employment, the lack of access to digital resources was a significant barrier for many families. To address this, they launched a comprehensive initiative to provide affordable internet access and technological devices to those in need. Partnering with tech companies and local governments, they secured funding to equip each Beacon Center with modern computer labs and offer digital literacy workshops. The initiative aimed to empower community members with the skills necessary to thrive in an increasingly digital world. As the beacon expanded into neighborhoods with diverse cultural backgrounds, Marcus and Greg faced the challenge of ensuring that each center was culturally sensitive and inclusive. They recognized the importance of tailoring programs to meet the unique needs and traditions of each community. To achieve this, they engaged with local leaders, elders, and cultural organizations to gain insights and foster trust. They recruited staff and volunteers from the communities they served, ensuring that each center reflected the rich tapestry of cultures within its neighborhood. Through cultural exchange, events, and multilingual services, the Beacon celebrated diversity while fostering a sense of unity and belonging. With the expansion of the Beacon Centers, Marcus and Greg also prioritized environmental sustainability. They understood that creating a positive impact on the community extended beyond social and economic change. It also included caring for the planet. Incorporating eco-friendly practices, they implemented green construction techniques and renewable energy sources in the new centers. Programs on environmental awareness and sustainable living were introduced, encouraging the community to embrace practices that promoted a healthier planet. By leading by example, the Beacon aimed to inspire others to consider the environment in their endeavors. As the Beacon grew, so did its reliance on external funding and resources. Marcus and Greg realized the importance of building resilience within each center to ensure long-term sustainability. They focused on developing diverse revenue streams, such as hosting community events, offering rental spaces for local businesses, and launching social enterprises. Additionally, they cultivated a strong network of supporters and partners, fostering relationships that could provide stability through changing economic landscapes. By empowering each center to become self-sufficient, they ensured that the Beacon's mission would endure for future generations. Throughout these challenges, Marcus and Greg learned that the power of collaboration was their greatest asset. They brought together stakeholders from various sectors, including government agencies, businesses, nonprofits, and community members, to create a coalition dedicated to social change. By leveraging the strengths and expertise of each partner, they were able to address complex issues more effectively. This collaborative approach not only amplified the Beacon's impact, but also inspired other communities to adopt similar models, creating a ripple effect of positive change. As the Beacon continued to thrive, Marcus and Greg reflected on the journey they had undertaken. What had started as an adversarial relationship had evolved into a powerful partnership, driven by a shared commitment to uplifting those who needed it most. Their story of redemption and unity resonated far beyond their city, inspiring countless others to believe in the possibility of transformation and the power of working together. The Beacon had become more than just a network of community centers. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring impact of compassion and collaboration. Together, Marcus and Greg vowed to continue their work, knowing that every challenge was an opportunity to grow and every success was a stepping stone toward a brighter future for all.